normal and what's not.
Yeah. So particularly for young children, look, even babies, when they discover their genitals, they touch them because it feels good, because they do feel good and they're meant to feel good. So it's very, very normal for young children to masturbate. And when we're talking about masturbation, children aren't doing it to orgasm or to get off in any way. They're just touching themselves because it feels good. And so that is a very normal thing to do. I usually encourage parents to have just, that's totally fine to touch that. You might want to do that in your bedroom, or does that feel good? That you could even use that as education. That spot on your body is your clitoris, and that feels really nice. That's okay to touch it. And but we don't really do that at the dinner table, or let's just do it in your bedroom, those kind of things. Again, so you're setting up really good, healthy imprints with your kids that their bodies are meant to be for pleasure, and it does feel good, but let's set some beautiful boundaries around that. Sometimes what I have witnessed is kids will use masturbation as a way to kind of check out a little bit. So from an aware parenting perspective, masturbation can become a bit of a control pattern. So when they feel unsafe or unsure, they'll often rub themselves up against things or do that. And if ever you've seen your child do that with that glazed look on their eyes, it might be because they're just checking out a little bit. And what they need more maybe is a bit of connection, than doing that. So it's kind of, observing your child and seeing what is a normal, healthy balance within it. I find if your child's doing it all the time, usually that's just a way of them kind of zoning out a little bit, and what they may need is just a bit more connection, or to see if there's some feelings going on underneath that. There's a great app called the Traffic Light app that I recommend parents have a look at, which explains the different appropriate behaviours for children sexually. So it's got kind of the red, amber, green, of what is normal, what is looking concerning, and what is kind of signs that there might be something else going on for children. So it's worth having a look at, and it just talks about age-appropriate behaviours. So if a child has had some form of abuse, or if they've been exposed even to pornography, or they've seen stuff that they don't understand, sometimes they will play that out with other children. So they will overtly act sexually with other kids. They will want people to always touch their genitals, and you'll see some quite sexual behaviour, and that can be the way that the child is trying to process what's happened to them, and that may be something that you need to look into and get some help around. But normal behaviours such as just masturbating, touching himself is really normal. Talking about bodies is really normal. Being naked is very, very normal. Natural being inquisitive, why does mummy have hair there, or why is daddy's penis bigger, or those kind of things might be completely, they're just really normal inquisitive parts of children wanting to know about bodies. So that's really considered pretty normal. And then as they move into kind of the school age years, it becomes less about that kind of public display of what their bodies are doing. They start to become a little bit more private with their bodies, and it becomes more about learning about relationships and socialization, and being in your own personal space and those kind of things. That's where we see children start to move through, how does that look, how does that feel for me? And then it moves into those preteen years where we start to see changes in bodies, and such as breast budding or pubic hair, or starting to smell a little bit more. Those kind of signs that we see that that change is happening, which is really normal. And again, great conversations to talk about. But my biggest recommendation, if you are seeing something in your child that seems really a bit out there, or it's happening a lot, those kind of things, then have a look at that Traffic Light app, and then perhaps go and talk to someone about what you might think, if that's normal or not. I have such a faith in children that they always do whatever they need to do to come back into balance. They're pretty clever at knowing what they need to do to process stuff. So they do that through play, they do that through using their bodies, they do that through crying, raging, tantruming, all those kind of things. So if you are seeing lots of sexual behaviour, it might be because your child's trying to process and work through something, and trying to get to the bottom of that can be a really good thing. Yeah.
I forgot to thank Lael for talking this podcast, or at least I forgot to record me thanking Lael. So thank you, Lael, for speaking and educating us a little bit about how to talk to our kids about sex. I feel like this is really important, and I hope that everyone listening has gotten something out of it. Sorry, I'm recording this at home with some kids around. So it's not the most ideal situation. But I hope you guys got some good tips or things to think about, or some nice resources to look at, so that you can make some positive changes, or start to educate your children and empower them about about sex and sexuality, and have some open conversations. So thank you for listening.